What's up, Army? Welcome back to Redemption 46 Studios. I'm Nick.
And I'm Curtis.
Y'all know the vibes. Y'all seen the picture. Y'all seen the thumbnail. Y'all know why y'all here. Look here. BTS. Color-coded. Yeah, look here real quick. You guys better be subscribed to the channel. Also, for content like this, especially for the live performance that we're getting into, make sure you guys jump on the Patreon.
To the Patreon.
Move.
Hey.
It's not get too dark and wild in here. Yeah, make sure you guys jump on the Patreon. It's a fun place that should be up. Me and you also will be doing the gym and stuff on there today for him and Young Bay for the live performance for Vibe.
All right.
Will be available, and also some other treats that are BTS centric will be up on the Patreon. But yeah, no long talk. We can jump in the look here. Another B-side from Dark and Wild. If y'all been here for a while, y'all know how I feel about it. I think this is a sleeper album. Hopefully this is another kind of check mark off, but let's find out.
What's poppin', girl? 또 만났네. What's wrong with you? 처음에는 아주 호기심 으로 시작해는 네가 짐을 보이지 Holy shit 그래 네가 날 도우지 해도 내게 빠져드는 시간 너무네 우린 어리지 네가 없는 나는 빛이 잃은 서술이 웃었던 너의 빈자리 너를 두고 랩을 너 없는 하루란 나만 그걸 찾으리 우연이 아니야
JK. Let me turn you up.
I like when they gave Cookie some rap parts.
Jimmy!
Love the vocal switcher.
Breathy.
Has a nice groove to it.
They're passing that baton the fuck around.
It's like every switch of the beat with the drum pattern.
J-Hope! Sound like you want them, Jimmy. Okay, all
Love
right.
that switch up.
Come redeemers like me.
Woo! The syllable rhyme scheme.
Yeah, nah, you showing your ass, bro.
He snapped.
You snap.
Tempo, they let the beat drown out a little bit.
Look at him. What's poppin', girl? Put my number in your phone.
They snapped.
You know.
They really snapped.
Nah. First off, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel, man. If this is your first time here, go check out our older content. Definitely can't wait to do the live performance to this on the Patreon. Yeah, Kurt, this obviously we have like a lot of discussions up here about, you know, the changes that happened like with BTS as far as like the sound and different albums and everything like that.
Yeah.
I'm very much on the record that I think like Dark and Wild is a masterpiece and kind of an underappreciated album. Some of the quote unquote gripes that I guess like some of the panel have had about getting harmonizations early within like some of their CDs and stuff. I think tracks like this kind of disprove some of that, where it's just like on Dark and Wild, to me you really get like a lot of stuff. You have like those classy ballads that are on there. I think you have like high energy songs. Some of the West Coast pop, like that West Coast like kind of bounce stuff is on there as well. But I love the infusion of this. This is given like a Robin Thicke, Pharrell kind of like blend of like kind of like all that with like the production and even just some of the breathiness to me with like a lot of like the vocals.
It feels like there's like a sense of urgency to it too, where it's like, you know, keeping with that kinetic energy, that pace being built up, where it's like, come on, like it's like
it's almost like you literally following a girl trying to get her number type of like the energy of the walk. And like I said, obviously it's no MV, and you know I'm pretty sure the live performance probably be more just choreo and you know obviously like the song. But I do feel the same way you feel. Like it definitely was a little bit of a like we kind of got to get things going. But nah, all that being said, I think this is another notch on the belt when it comes to like the Dark and Wild content from BTS. I think they were a little bit ahead of their time. I'm starting to really think that this album is a lot better than like people give it credit for. Obviously, you know, it was growth to happen like on albums, but they do a lot of things on this album to me that they execute obviously better with more experience and, you know, just more context.
Of these things that kind of grow into fruition into other things down the line.
Yeah, the vocal passing of the baton where it literally is like, Jimmy, you got it, JK, you got it, Jen, you got it, V, you got it. The breathiness, the harmonizations, the layering. This was a masterclass a little bit for some of that. Suge, Hope, and RM. Obviously in the earlier projects, vocal line would typically get the chorus and then all the rappers would get their 16. I felt like none of rap lines sound the same. They all brought something good to the track. But to me, RM's his verse stood out the most. His cadence, his energy, even his nuances. He started the energy on the track with the whole like, girl, come on, like, you know what I mean, just kind of like that, like, you know it's me, baby, like, you know what I mean, kind of like energy. It already kind of set like the tone for it. And to me, he did that a lot earlier on, like with a lot of tracks. He kind of always kind of starts the energy up. Yeah, I like this a lot. It's a download for me. I'm interested to kind of see what the live version of this is. And I'm also interested to see how many ARMY actually like some of these like B-sides from earlier projects too, because I know within the fandom it is I guess people who do like certain genres or certain sections of like the BTS music like a little bit more.
Their musicality is so vast that it's just like there's so many different pockets that can kind of, you know, hit for you, and if certain eras or you know, albums and things of that nature hit a little bit more strongly, I can certainly see why. Yeah,
I just like it just because this would have been I enjoy situations where you can see the versatility within like groups, where it's just like you'll cut on an album and the album might have like, you know, 11 songs and none of them sound particularly like the same. Mind you, this is an album that has like Danger on it, War of Hormone, Hip Hop File. Let me know.
I can definitely feel the War of Hormones aspect of it.
Yeah, because it's kind of in the not the same vein, because I think like the musicality is different, but it's kind of in the same, like, you know, we said kind of following somebody to get the girl kind of energy. What else have we done here? I think we've done Second Grade and Embarrass. Oh, we did the Could You Turn Off Your Cell Phone joint too, and Cypher 3.
Okay.
So yeah, 14 songs, and majority of everything done. A couple more coming soon. But yeah, bro, I'm really liking this project a lot. But I've been talking a lot. How you feel?
No, I definitely like this a lot in the aspect of like, all the different, BTS songs that we've heard, kind of going back to eras like this, you do feel like such a different sense in the music production and layering and kind of how they bring these different elements like kind of to the forefront. So seeing like kind of the way they take the talent that like we know, of course, in the retrospect aspect of the journey, and see like how well all of them are talented in certain regards, but then change up an entirely different, I don't want to say formula necessarily, because this was like something they did more so originally, but just kind of seeing like how it's like, okay, we know the talent like in our journey, again, retrospective, that all the vocalists have, and seeing them kind of be integrated in a different way where it's like you're still getting little vocal runs, especially like Cookie, Jimin had a moment, deep voice of V, and I believe Jim was also integrated as well in some of those switch off moments, but basically taking the elements that we've seen for them where they can all have their own spotlights, but then making it integrated in a sense where it's like relay race style. It's like I'm passing you the baton, passing me the baton, but it's also calling back a little bit to that 90s, probably early 2000s hip hop where it's like not to say necessarily call and response or anything like that, but basically that urgency where it's like it's me then the crowd, but they use that aspect where it feels like I'm handing the baton off to the vocalists, and the vocalists are kind of creating that energy, that crowd feeding sort of energy, which again does make me curious to hear the live as well. And see, how those aspects kind of translate. Although I definitely feel like it will. I'm not sure if there's going to be any choreo or if there's a need for anything or what they're going to do.
It may not be.
They could just be kind of swag, like talking or walking, that sort of thing. And all those things would, all those elements would hit as well. It just depends on kind of the setting that they're going for. But I really thought all that was really great as far as how they integrated the vocal line. I do like when Cookie gets a little bit of moments where he feels like he's rapping or has like 2 to 3 to 6 lines or something like that. Like
Cookie was ad-libbing, doing falsettos and everything too.
He used to rap a little bit, or he was much more integrated as one of the members of the group who had rap lines in some of the earlier work. So
I want him rapping again.
No, honestly, I do too. I love his vocals and everything that he brings in those regards as well. And of course, one of the 3 J's in the choreo aspect. So it's just like I know he's capable of it. And I'm not putting any pressure on him, of course, if he wants to pursue anything like that, but he certainly has, those tools in his toolbox to pursue. So I do like hearing elements of that as well.
Yeah, I'll double down too. It's I'm assuming that you could tell me if you're on the same page. It's just, if we seen you do something at an elite level at the age of 15 or 16 very early on, and now, you're 9 or 10 years removed from doing a lot of like rapping and other stuff, and you've only grown better. It's, kind of human nature for us as fans to want to hear the artists jump back in that lane to see kind of what it would sound like. So I'm all for it with you.
No, yeah, definitely. It's so like I love seeing all those aspects play out as well. And then when it got into the verse structure, I like that they all really felt like they had at least 8 to 16. So those aspects, and again, we talked about this before, but in some of the earlier tracks, it did feel like it was like not to say vocal line was like knocked down a step or two as far as like the line distribution aspect of everything, but it did feel like it was much more on the forefront of because they were supposed to originally be a hip hop group kind of, and then they only later went on to evolve and discover a lot more of the ways to explore the talent of
the system. Definitely felt like pre-chorus, chorus, 16 bars, pre-chorus, chorus, 16 bars, pre-chorus, chorus, 16 bars. Like, yeah, I get what you mean. It felt a little bit more, and that's not necessarily true with it because obviously it's other tracks on here and stuff like that. War Hormones and other things on the track aren't set up kind of exactly like that neither. But to me, like you said, when everything was more just hip hop based with them, quote unquote, they had a formulaic way of kind of doing it. And you get it here, but I actually do like how it's done here.
Yeah.
I'm like.
It's always funny as hell when you do it. It's but yeah, like, and then when it got into the verse structure, like I really loved how each of the rappers kind of brought a different feel kind of to it, but they all ultimately kept still with a little bit of the bad boy kind of energy as far as like I'm trying to seduce you and that sort of thing. So I thought like what they did both lyrically and like in their flows and their cadence, I really did enjoy as well. When it got into RM's verse, I mean, it felt like it took on a whole different meaning, or stepped up to a whole different level for me. And honestly, I'm not particularly sure if it would have been a download for me necessarily before that or anything like that, or rather it would have just taken a couple listens for me to kind of you know, like feel the vibe of the song, I suppose. It would have taken a couple listens, but definitely when it got in the RM's verse, like that's kind of where like I feel like it sold me the most in that regard. But it was just to touch on a little bit of the lyrics. Basically, one of my favorite bars from Suge's verse was like I'm like Soul City without lights, like when I'm without you, essentially. Like but it's also that wordplay of soul and soul. Like it's like, you know, you basically are literally what lights up my soul. So I think the wordplay and kind of things like that are really, really incredible as well. And then his last line of his verse where he was like, day without you is like a one act play of a tragedy, essentially, where it's just like, you know, fallen hero sort of thing. So I like that he kept it both poetic in the wordplay, but then ironically Shakespearean.
Hope you get her back, bro. We want to see the third act.
So it's, hey, but it was
not like that.
Sure.
That kind of movie.
But no, even the pre-chorus and things like that. Like I think there was like really incredible wordplay as far as like a little bit suggestive, of course, but I think it was really cool because they're playing "You're a Flower and I'm a Bee" and the whole pollination thing, as far as metaphors and everything like that. So I thought that was stuff that was really neat as well. The honey and the bear thing.
You a bear, or no, you honey, I'm a bear. It was just
like stuff like that is just like really creative, and ultimately it just feels fun, kind of as far as like the lyricism and aspects of it. So I really enjoyed, you know,
pollination and a bee is a crazy metaphor, but
no, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like they were
like,
definitely on that type of time. But it was really creative, so I like that stuff. And then J-Ho, one of the favorite lines that I had in his, it was, "You're a thief, I'm the police, pay for your crime." So I'm like, all right, J-Ho, I see what we're doing.
J-Ho trying to play cops and robbers with it. But I do like that because
it feels like they're just having fun with like the lyricism and the pen. It's like it's not like they're like too strongly committed to it. Like it just feels like they're really just kind of being fun with it, and especially with the vibe and the general production of the song and the tempo in which, you know, the pre-chorus and chorus are, and the pass and the baton aspects. It just feels like really just like kind of hip hop and fun.
But that's why I enjoy it, because like obviously, especially here, a majority of them are teenagers, and this is supposed to be the K-pop era of them, of talking about, you know, hey, I want her, or, you know, and just kind of like that type of banter and dialogue. I like that BTS is able to contextually do that and make it witty. And even if something does, how can I word this? I don't want to say like feel vulgar, because nothing was vulgar here. But if something felt a little bit more like, where it's like, oh, okay, it's a double entendre, versus like I've heard all types of Western music where you'll have a boy group that's kind of a little bit more straightforward. Almost just like, I can't wait to take you to bed and lay you down, and just kind of say things like that, where it's not suggestive, it's not a double entendre, it's straight to the point, and it's more so, what you gonna do when we get to the bed? How you gonna lay me down? Like, there's nothing else you mean but that. And I like how BTS is like, even when it's in this pocket, it's still playful. It's expressive contextually.
It's expressive with the poetry in itself, though, because even if it's in a more suggestive manner, let's say, it's still ultimately wordplay, doubles entendres, you know, metaphors. You're playing on aspects of nature, and kind of like that's where some of the creativity and the fun is in the aspects of the poetry. But it just like, it felt really fun, like the overall vibe of everything. But yeah, I didn't want to step on your point there.
No, I'm still looking at him talking about my Lamborghini, teeny weeny, eeny meeny.
That syllable rhyme scheme was like, it was again playful, but it was still really creative and really funny. He was riding that beat so crazy.
I believe he started his own shit talking too on some like, you got the Alexander Wang on he was talking that talk a little bit there. What did he say on the one joint too, where it led on to another bar too? Something about you will wait on me and I lift you off me, or something with the weight.
Let's get married. You're featuring in my daily life, weighing 99 kilograms. I can't shake you off. I hate you.
I can't shake you off. Yeah, you weighing on me. I just say it was a lot of little stuff in there. He really was carrying. And I'm saying that in the sense of like, he really started snapping when it got into it, because I'm definitely on the same playing field as you with the. It definitely was a cool track, but when it does get the RM's verse, the verse did elevate it a little bit more. And to me, whether you were at a 9 already or a 7 already, wherever you was at, to me, it definitely elevated the track a little bit more.
But it felt like it was like, you know, no pun intended, because we, you know, had said previously, as far as like how tracks feel like they build, ultimately just like movies to like, you know, that sounds so suggestive. build to the climax, I suppose. But it's like essentially you want kind of the best part to kind of seemingly come last. Oh my God.
Nah, I'm with you. I'm with you. That's the best was yet to come.
Facts.
It's like, well, I mean, what do you mean?
It's poetry.
Yeah, nah, and some of the
he really snapped it when he got into his verse structure and everything like that. But basically, as you were saying, it's just like, you know, if the track, even if it was a 9 or an 8 for you, it's like it really did pick up, you know, when it kind of got into his verse. And it was like, but again, for how the production was and how tempoed it was like the way he switched his pockets and his flow and kept with that syllable rhyme scheme with the eeny meeny aspects and everything. Like it was really, really creative how he did that. And honestly, like I really like seeing RM on that type time as well, because I know he's like incredible as a rapper. But it's just like when he gets into those pockets where he has like a full 16 to really operate with, it's just like I feel like he always shines, and as do the other rappers as well. But that's also for me what it comes down to is like if you're telling a story, and you know we said this countless times, but if you have 3 minutes to tell a story, and you know, it's like bridge and vocals and stuff like that. And obviously that brings the emotion to the words, but it really, when you're trying to differentiate what your song or your subject is about, that's different than so-and-so's version of it. And I mean that as far as like universal themes, like love, you know, trying to like whatever your end goal kind of the song is, it really is in the verse structure and the writing of kind of how you differentiate yourself. So oftentimes when all 3 of the rappers get their 16s, I feel like there's a lot more personality, ironically, in kind of the track in that regard, if that makes sense. But then when you couple that with the vocal runs and putting the emotion behind some of those words, it just makes for such like a perfect combination, really.
Yeah, y'all gotta jump in the comments and give us some more information, especially if we missed out like on anything. I love the pocket that like our whole panel and our channel is in with BTS now.
Yeah.
Just because I felt like we've absorbed enough of obviously like all the title tracks. We've done a different variety of B-sides. We've done interviews. Definitely make sure you're going to Patreon, man. We've done interviews, like, you know, live performances and everything. So now being able to jump back to older tracks and just kind of already knowing, you know, what their body of work is and where they're at, we're able to either get certain things, you know what I mean? It's just like I feel like we're able to take in so much more to context now just because
it makes sense.
we've seen a lot of the playing field and shit, which is crazy because we haven't even seen a lot of some. You know so much, but not at all.
We've seen up to like the 40-yard line.
People be like, yo, nah, it's still the touchdown.
You're
not even at midfield yet.
It's like we in field goal range? Like
yeah, nah, but it's just it feels good to be, all that to say, it feels good to be able to go back to, you know, these first, you know, 3 albums, start, you know, still doing B-sides, still getting into the live performances of all this. Obviously, you know, getting ready to watch Bon Voyage. You know what I mean? Getting ready for that. Yeah. Obviously the American Hustle Life and a lot of other treats that y'all gonna be getting very, very soon. But anything else you want to add about this, bro?
No, I think the last thing I was really gonna add is just ultimately, like, I know we're seeing this in retrospective, of course, but it's like taking it from both perspectives. Let's say, like, if you were someone who started day one and kind of seen this journey, seeing like all these elements included and just the seeds are kind of being planted of where they'll go and where, you know, that journey has taken them. If you were someone who's like a much earlier army who kind of was around for these sort of tracks and then, you know, was able to come around to see where they are now, like I can't imagine how proud and how happy and everything you must be just seeing like how far they've come. And probably when not too many eyes were on them necessarily, at least comparatively, let's say. To say that, like, I believe in them, I see them, I know the talents, that, like, I really see big things for this group. You must be so incredibly proud. And then for us to see it on kind of the reverse side of it, where it's like, we've seen aspects of where they are now, and it's just like, wow, we're seeing seeds kind of planted back then, you know, through all these tracks and just in different ways, of course. And it's just kind of comparing those 2 separate journeys and how they could overlap. It's just, I really like kind of what tracks like this and the journey and everything really says about, you know, the versatility and just how far they've come.
Nah, I know that well, 2 things. After listening to, like, you know, all the songs that we've listened to on this album, and even, you know, after they debut and some of the other stuff, I definitely can see how someone in 2013 or 14 would have been like, yo, this group is special, or this group is going to be it. Because like you said, the seeds are all here. Obviously, you can hear it all with the talent and everything like that. What always impresses me with their, especially like pre-debut and their first couple albums is really just the context that's going on.
Yeah.
Nobody as young as they are should be writing like this. Especially, years during 2013 and, 14 and everything when this is like going on. Now I might give people a little bit more of a pass because I feel like this generation might be a little bit more, I don't want to say in tune with their emotions at an earlier age, but you might have a little bit more, you might be able to pen up a lot of feelings easier nowadays than maybe you could have 15 years ago. Or, just when times were a little bit different where it wasn't as cool to write your emotions down.
Yeah. And also advents like the internet and just kind of where things have been able to be taken. You kind of are able to cast so much wider of a net for music to hit and to resonate because of aspects like that. Not to say it's the only reason, of course, but it's certainly something that kind of...
It's something that'll help.
It accelerates the process, I think.
Exactly. Not help, but it's something that will accelerate the process. Yeah. But with that being said, it's just with their earlier work, I just think that the musicality was there, the pen was there. Honestly, like the choreo for a lot of early stuff that was going on. So I definitely get how you could have been in 2013 or 14, just like, yo, they're gonna be it. They're gonna be the next guys. With that being said, jump in the comments. Tell us how y'all felt about this. Tell us where you guys rank this at as far as B-sides go. If y'all aren't subscribed to the channel, I don't know what's going on. I'm pretty sure me and Kurt gave a nice breakdown and a nice little discussion with this. So hopefully we were able to put a smile on y'all face and make y'all feel a little bit better about today. And if your day was hard, guess what? I love you. Here's a virtual hug. Also, make sure you guys jump on the Patreon. We about to jump into the live performance of this. If this is your first time here and you go on the Patreon, shit is probably going to feel like heaven. You probably about to jump on there and see like 1,000 videos and all this other BTS stuff. Imagine finding our channel today and jumping on the Patreon. That shit is going to be, you probably not going to be able to watch every video in a month.
I'm not going to make the analogy because clearly, leaps and bounds different in comparison, of course. But ultimately, that's kind of in a sense how I felt just the words you're describing of when we got into BTS. And it was like, oh my God, there's this plethora of content and everything like that. So, not for significant on the same playing field because clearly it's different. But I just feel like those words kind of describe how I felt with this. So if this is how anyone feels in regards to that, then, all the better.
Also, YouTube, stay tuned. We're going to be doing some special stuff for y'all, especially at the beginning of next month. I already know that the Patreon stuff is hard to either get in certain locations, and sometimes some people can't afford it. Even if you can't, that doesn't make you any less of a day one redeemer or a true redeemer. We love y'all. We're going to continue to show y'all love. Holla at y'all.
Love y'all.
Peace.
Take care.